And it's Saturday morning. Good morning. Here we are there outside on the in the back porch office. We're reading from Acts 10:30 through 33. And Cornelius said, 4 days ago at about this hour, I was praying in my house at the 9th hour, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your alms have been remembered before God. Send therefore to Joppa, and ask for Simon, who is called Peter. He is lodging in the house of Simon, a tanner by the sea. So I sent for you at once, and you have been kind enough to come. Now therefore we are all here in the presence of God to hear all that you have been commanded by the Lord. So this is Cornelius. Excuse me. Cornelius' answer to Peter's question of, why did you send for me? And in the next paragraph, Peter is going to start another long sermon. So I thought, we'll just read this little bit today. And Cornelius simply says, that he had a vision. A man stood before him and told him that his prayers and his alms had been accepted by God, and he was to send for Peter. He was praying at the 9th hour. So the 9th hour is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? You start at 6 a.m., and I think that's how they did it. So he was probably praying the ritual prayers that Jews would have prayed throughout the day in several different hours. He was probably just praying these prayers because that's what you do. He was very devout and meant the prayers when he prayed them, but he wasn't praying, making it up himself. And that's how large portions of the world, the church, and the Jewish faith too, that's kind of how they do it. You have these prayers that somebody wrote once, and they're really good prayers, and you pray them over and over instead of praying your own prayers. I had a secretary once who confided in me, I think I can share this, that she didn't really care for the other pastors' prayers and things because they came out of a book. And she liked mine better. And I said, well, hold on here. Why don't you like the book? And she said, well, because you should just write your own prayers. And I said, well, he wrote the book, so he did write his own prayers. I'm the one who is using someone else's prayers. And she got real quiet after that. But there's nothing wrong with using prayers that someone else has written. That's my point. So this man said, your prayers and your alms have been heard and remembered. And so he was told to send to Joppa down by the ocean and find Peter. And so they do. And so Peter comes, and they're all standing there eager to hear whatever he has to say. So for us, what does this little bit of scripture mean today? I think it means, first of all, that getting into some sort of ritual with our prayers is not a bad thing at all. And there are tons of resources out there, and some of them are actually quite good. But find the one that works for you and use it. Some people use it in the morning, some people use it in the evening, some people do it, 3 times a day. I think Calvin said we ought to pray morning, noon, and night, which he thought was a good compromise. And the Catholic monks at the time were doing like 8 or 10 prayers a day, and 2 in the morning and everything. And he didn't see all of that as necessary, but he thought that we should pray basically at meal times, and find some good prayers to pray. So that's a thing. But we should organize and increase and systematize our prayer life so that it's not just haphazard whenever we happen to think of it, but that it happens in a regular basis. and then be responsive to what God might say. I'm not saying that a man in bright clothing, excuse me, is going to come in a vision, but something might happen that's unexpected, and that would be the work of the Spirit. At least one hopes so. And so here we all are in the presence of God to hear what you've been commanded to say, Peter. So, the ball is yours. And Peter will start talking and talking and talking. But we'll get into that Monday, I guess. Do that Monday. So for now, enjoy the day, and don't forget your prayers.